Hello, welcome back. Right, again, it's pickup videos time. Again, courtesy from my good friend Graeme Mason. He's been sifting through his collection and anything he's got doubles of, etc. He's gratefully passed my way. So as you can see, starting off, we've got an issue of Sinclair User there. We've got a Your Sinclair with Ocean's Road Race. Now, I believe this particular issue, correct me if I'm wrong, please, people, that's the first example of a full game being given away by any of the magazines. Obviously, it became sort of standard practice very, very quickly up until the end of the Spectrum's life, and the game itself was Ocean's Road Race, which I don't know. So I'll have to check that out. Another Sinclair User with Roadrunner cover. Roadrunner based on the arcade game. It was Spectrum version released by Jim Bagley, programmed by Jim Bagley, and released by US Gold. I do actually have that, but can't remember anything about it. Some copies of ZX Computing Monthly magazine, which I did cover in a previous video because they were different, so I won't sort of go through them, and a few games. So we start off with Who Dares Wins 2 from Alligator. Now, as I go through these games, again, if you have any kind of memories of them, etc., etc., please do share them with me, whether or not you remember the games, whether or not they're new to you. Now, I've seen this game in various people's videos recently, but I've never played it myself, and a lot of people seem to think it's a really, really good commando sort of type game, so I'll be interested to check that out. Who Dares Wins 2 from Alligator. I'm not sure if Who Dares Wins 1 ever saw a release on the Spectrum. We have Vampire from Codemasters. Not familiar with this one at all. The writing there is very sort of reminiscent of the font used on Mastertronic's Chiller. Don't know it at all, this one. The usual Codemasters boast there. Brilliant graphics, and they look okay, I suppose. Interested to try that one out. Match Day 2 from Ocean. I do still have my own copy of Match Day, but the taper's long, Match Day 2, but the taper's long since given up working, so I was pleased to see this. But when I checked, have a look, has someone recorded the charts over my Match Day 2? I do hope not. If they've recorded anything, I hope it's only on the one side. But I'll be checking that out soon as well. Match Day 2, of course, one of the best football games on the Specky. Alongside Emlyn Hughes International Football. I found Emlyn Hughes to be a lot better sort of simulation of football, but Match Day 2 was much easier to get into. So I've always erred on the side of Match Day, but yeah, Emlyn Hughes is a great game as well. Professional Snooker Simulator from Codemasters. I wonder what kind of game that is. By Godwin Graham. Oh, never heard of him before. Actual Spectrum screenshots and brilliantly realistic. And it's all absolutely brilliant. BMX Racers. This is abysmal. I know that. I've played it on emulation quite some time back. And if you want to see how bad it really is, check out 20th Century Gaming's video he did a while back of BMX Racers, and I'll stick a link to that video in the description box below, and you can actually check that out. We've got future games from Mastertronic. I don't know this game at all, and it's some kind of event-based thing. I'm going to be interested to check that out. Again, anyone, if you know what it's like, please let me know. We have Split Personalities, the Bug Bite re-release. Obviously, initially it was released by Domark, and it's one of those sliding picture puzzle sort of based games. Now, I remember they did originally call it Spitting Images, but that got them in trouble with the TV show of the time, so they had to change the name to Split Personalities. They did eventually get the rights to do a spitting image game, and they turned it into some kind of bland fighting game. It wasn't much good at all. Right, what have we got here? We've got Grange Hill, the game. Now, I know this game's bad. Never had it back in the day. But I was always a Grange Hill fan, as we all were. Those of us that were old enough to own a Specky, we were old enough to watch Grange Hill whenever we got in from school on whatever days it was broadcast. I can remember all the way back to the Tucker Jenkins days, so like the very first series and spin-off series like Tucker's Luck and everything like that. But this game is set in a different era, a later one, with the main characters being Gonch and Hollow, and you've got to get his confiscated Walkman back, and it's a bit dull. But I was happy to actually get hold of the game for some strange reason, more nostalgia than anything, because you know I did love Grange Hill, the TV show. We've got A Question of Sport by Encore, obviously the budget label of Elite, who released it. I don't know anything about that, so I am going to have to check that out. Presumably it's a quiz game, and it's probably going to be a bit tricky to play, because the answers will only ever go up to whatever was current in 1980, whenever this was released, 1988, or let's have a look. 128K version on side B. It doesn't actually say what year, never mind. So that's Question of Sport. Now, a lot of TV game shows ended up with games, computer games made from them. I've got downstairs, I've got Every Second Counts, Bob's Full House, I've got the Krypton Factor, I've got Blockbusters. Obviously now I've got Question of Sport. There's a Saint and Greavesy game, yes, and I've covered that one in a video. Right, moving on. I've got the Encore re-release of Paperboy. This was one of my favourite games on the Spectrum when I was a young lad. I did have it myself. The copy I had has long since gone. I remember it being great fun. Released 1986 by Elite. This is Encore, obviously, as I've already said, Elite's budget label. Really, really nice game. Those of you who have ever played Paperboy 2, it's nowhere near as good as that, although it looks really nice. And Graham's given me a fist. Love Way of the Exploding Fist. I love it. We've got very fond memories of this game, as I suspect most of us have. Initially being jealous when it first came out on the Commodore 64, and dreaming of a release on the Specky. And when eventually it did come out, I was thinking, oh my god, it's going to be really, really abysmal, and it won't compare to the C64 version well at all. But obviously minus the music and the mini rounds, it did. It's a fantastic game. So looking forward to playing that. Fist 2 and Fist Plus are wank though. And finally, Graham snuck these ones in there. I've got, take your pick, 3 copies of The Tube. I've actually got 5 copies now, because I've picked other copies up along the way. So yeah, that game was clearly really popular. I know nothing about it. It's originally by Quicksilver. I don't know actually who originally did it. Quicksilver, I thought, but I'm not so sure. I've checked it out on RZX. It appears to be a sort of quite bland into the screen shoot 'em up, followed by side scrolling shoot 'em up and vertical scrolling shoot 'em up bits. I haven't actually checked it out yet, despite owning numerous copies of it now. So again, if any of you are familiar with The Tube, please shout up and let me know. Anyway, that was just it. I'm going to be getting back to doing some more reviews using the real sort of Spectrum at the moment. Sort of mojo's gone a little bit because it's just been so busy, and there's been things I wanted to cover on. Anyway, no, I didn't. I couldn't sort of like wait for games to sort of come my way. So because I don't use eBay or anything, so games like Frankenstein, etc. I wanted to get videos done of those for a long time, and just never happened across a copy of the game. But yes, I will be returning to doing an awful lot more stuff actually on the real Spectrum. And that's it. Thanks ever so much for watching. If you like the video, please let me know. If you wish to subscribe, please do so. But you know what I'm going to say. If you do subscribe, please make sure that you're joining with any and every discussion, because that's what it's all about. Okay, as ever, thanks for your continued support. Take care of yourselves, have a great weekend, and goodbye.